With the S&P 500 at all-time highs and the FTSE 100 in the past few months catching up and exceeding year-to-date to the S&P 500, investors might be looking at other places apart from the S&P 500 where they think the returns will be coming in the next few years. One of the bets that investors might make are emerging markets, and out of all the emerging markets, one in particular has a huge population and is on the rise in terms of global scene. And this is of course India, and in this video we are going to be looking at the Indian offerings in terms of ETFs on Trading 212 and how we can buy them. So if you would like to sign up to Trading 212 and receive a free fractional share worth up to £100, all you have to do is to click the link in the description box down below. Alternatively, if you have already signed up to Trading 212 in the past 10 days but haven't received a free fractional share, all you have to do is to click the 3 horizontal line menu over here, scroll all the way down until you see the section use promo code, and in this section just enter the code JUBAIR and you should receive a free fractional share. So first things first, whenever we want to search for any sort of ETF, we click the magnifying button over here. Now in here, we can type in India, and as we can see, a list populates with Indian ETFs or what appears to be Indian ETFs. So let's go through these popular search options when it comes to Indian ETFs. So the first one has the ticker code NDIA here on the search menu. And as you can see, everything looks normal. London Stock Exchange, MSCI India, UCITS ETF. So let's go into that. However, the first thing we notice when going in here is that this is, in United States dollars, so it's not going to be our first choice as UK-based investors. So let's go back and go into the second option here for iShares MSCI India, and this one here is in the London Stock Exchange. So as you can see, this has the ticker code IIND, and this is the iShares MSCI India fund. This is an ACC version, which means that dividends are automatically reinvested back into the fund. Now, one thing to note is that the performance of a fund that largely invests in Indian stocks will probably not, at least at this particular point in time, will be out competing anything from the likes of the UK or even America. As you can see, its past month performance has been pretty poor, down by 6.68%. But realistically, you don't really invest into something because of the price it is now. You invest into something for the hope that the price in the future is going to be more than what you're paying for now. And that is how you make money on Trading 212 or really any other investment. We can see again over the past year, the performance has been pretty bad. And realistically, not financial advice, but investing in an emerging market shouldn't be your main priority. You shouldn't put all your money into that. That is because there is no guarantee in these markets, because they're not established markets, that the growth will continue. The other fear is that, for example, China or India or other emerging markets, although you can argue that China is a more developed market, is that if any tensions arise between, let's say, the UK, India, which is unlikely, or the US, India, or US, China, whatever we're talking about, then these stocks could be very hard to invest in. There could be tariffs, all sorts of other things that could happen that would make the value of the investments that you hold in these ETFs worth less in the future. As always with investments, your capital is at risk. You are risking your money for the potential that it will grow more in the future. So that's exactly what an investment is. However, that being said, developed markets such as the UK and the US and other markets, they have already established themselves, and growth in very big economies happens at a much smaller rate. It is way easier to get double or even 3-figure percentage growth on an economy that is actually much less developed than one that is much more. For example, it is harder for Tesco to grow year on year 20% rather than a new chain that starts really small. It's very easy for them to potentially grow 100% every single year, as opposed to someone like Tesco, Sainsbury's, or whatever, an established group. Anyway, let's go through this ETF. As you can see, iShares funds on Trading 212 do have their full details, or at least a lot of details that you can use to get a better understanding of the underlying ETF. So as you can see here for the iShares MSCI India, this fund seeks to track the investment results of an index composed of Indian equities. One thing to note is that they do generally have a very high total expense ratio, as you can see 0.65% as opposed to 0.07% with the S&P 500, so a lot more expensive. And that is of course because in order to provide funds that are from India, it's going to just cost more for many different reasons. Currency exchange is just one of them, and many other reasons that I'm not going to go through in this video. You can see the fund size is about 4.34 billion, which is actually quite big. And here's a PE ratio, currently trading at a PE ratio of 25.33, which is actually higher than the FTSE 100. So as you can see on Trading 212, you can also find out the asset allocation. These are the top 10 holdings, but again, I have not heard of most of these companies, and probably yourself, you wouldn't have heard of most of these companies. So here are the top 10 companies this fund invests in. The first one is Reliance Industries Limited, never heard of them, but they take a big 6.25% weighting. The next is HDFC Bank, and then these companies that I've not heard of, I think I have heard of Infosys and Tata. Tata I have heard in terms of the steel manufacturing company, but I didn't know they had a consultancy service. Maybe it's a different company, but as you can see, most of these banks I've not heard of. Here's one called Hindustan Unilever. I don't know the connection it has, if it has any connection to the British Unilever, but there probably will be some connection there. But anyway, there are 155 companies this ETF invests into. Now, it is important to find out what sector these companies come from. So as you can see, very heavily focused on financial companies, so 25.76% weighting here. Consumer discretionary about 13%, 12.5% technology, 8.9% industrial. I would have assumed, a lot higher with industrials, considering that this is an emerging market. But anyway, 8% energy, materials 7.6%, consumer staples 6%, healthcare 5%, utilities 4%, communication services 4.3%, real estate about 1.5%, and cash or other derivatives, maybe money market funds, around 0.32%. So if we go back into the search menu here, we can see the third one, the iShares MSCI India, basically the same fund, but this will be on an European stock exchange. So of course, let's just skip over that. So the next one after that is the Franklin FTSE India. Again, this is an accumulating fund. And as you can see over the past year, the performance has been really bad, down by 0.89%. And again, that is one of the downsides of investing into an emerging market, is the severe volatility you can witness on your portfolio. But you know what? You could also see a huge rise in your portfolio potentially. Again, past performance has pretty much zero indication for future performance. Unfortunately, Trading 212 does not have all the information. So what we can do is to use a website, Just ETF. This is just a free to use website. I have no affiliation with them. But anyway, we can see here is the total expense ratio, 0.19%. So a lot cheaper than the previous fund from iShares. And as an overview, we can see the Franklin FTSE India seeks to track the FTSE India 30/18 capped index. So basically this tracks Indian companies from large and medium market cap. But anyway, the most important thing for me would be just to check the holdings. So you can see the top 10 holdings here. There will be some overlap between this fund and the iShares one, but of course this is a lot cheaper. So you can see number one holding is HDFC Bank at nearly 7%. Then we have Reliance Industries Limited. That was the previous top, I believe. Infosys, and the list goes on. Very similar in terms of holdings compared to the iShares one. Now, of course, with the iShares one, I didn't go over countries because we are predominantly just investing in Indian companies. So of course, I would expect over 90% here. Other just probably means either bonds, cash equivalents, or companies that are, kind of trading between India and another country. But just like the S&P 500, is pretty much 99.9% American stocks for the S&P 500 and 99% for Indian companies. But in terms of sectors, you can see financial is very high at 24%. Bear in mind that some companies could overlap between two different sectors, and this is quite subjective how you group a company into certain sectors. But that being said, financials is not really going to overlap with energy, so you can actually kind of get a feeling of where the industries are. So 23.76% financials, 12.5% consumer discretionary, technology around 12%, industries 9%, energy 8%, basic materials around 8%, healthcare around 5.5%, consumer staples 5%, and the list goes on. You can check this out for yourself. So if we go back to the list and scroll down, there isn't actually that much that you can invest into India with an ETF on Trading 212, or really generally many other places, as investing into India isn't really a big thing for America or the UK. Here's the next one, IGC, and this is the India Capital Growth Fund. Not sure who it's from, but But as you can see, over the last year, down by 13.28%. Really bad loss there. However, if we consider since November 2020, it is up by 116%, which is actually not too bad for an emerging market. And as you can see, at the start of this year, there was a rather large dip. This could very much be due to, of course, the change in US presidents and many other factors that I'm not going to get into. But as you can see, Trading 212 does have some basic information. The market cap here, it's not too small, not too big, at £136 million. You can see the revenue here, price to earnings ratio, and it seems like the dividends are not paid out to the shareholders. So a bit more information about this particular fund. This fund's objective is to provide long-term capital appreciation by investing predominantly in listed mid and small cap Indian companies. So as you can see on Trading 212, you can go into their financials here and learn a bit more about this fund. So the next one I'm going to go through is the JP Morgan Indian Investment Trust. This has performed significantly better than anything else I've shown today. As you can see, over the past year, up by 4.53%. However, if we look at it from November 2020, it is up by only 50% compared to the previous fund we've shown, which was up by over 100%. And if we want to learn a bit more about this fund, ticker code JII, the JP Morgan Investment Trust, we can see here the top 10 holdings: HDFC Bank at 8.79%, ICICI Bank Limited at 7.63%, and then you can see the list goes on, so on and so forth. Tata Consultancy Services at 4.7%. In terms of sectors, you can see huge weighting in financial services, over 33% there. Technology is also quite big at 16%. Consumer cyclical at 13.9%. Industrials 11.84%, and so on and so forth. Of course, if you want to invest into any of these ETFs or funds, you should do your own research. And just because I've highlighted the benefits of an emerging market doesn't mean, that's going to be the future necessarily, or vice versa. So make sure to check out some of my other videos, and I will see you in the next video.